gonna.
Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, I give you BVO.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know, shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know, every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know, I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show, this is BVO.
Yo, what it do? You welcome to another episode of BVO Boxing. Before we get started, want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, RayconGlobal.com. Once again, that's RayconGlobal.com. If you're looking for earbuds, you're looking for headphones, you're looking for Bluetooth speakers, go to RayconGlobal.com. We will be launching our discount code shortly, so be on the lookout for that. But check out RayconGlobal.com. I'm going to turn this show over to Crush the Legend, and he's going to start the show off. What's going on with you, Crush?
What's going on, D-Free Prize Fighter? What's up, Coach Tommy? Hey, salute everybody. Welcome to the
Salute, Crush. Salute, D-Free Prize.
Salute, brothers.
Welcome to the evening show. You guys has just entered the realm of the Fab Five. So we got an awesome show tonight. So as y'all see the thumbnail, don't believe the hype. And I'm talking about my Public Enemy voice. And what I mean by that, don't believe the hype because there's a lot of lies in the sport of boxing. So before we get the show started, smash the like button as you come in. You are family, you're not a guest, so make yourself comfortable. So I'm going to give you a rundown of today's topics, and we're going to get the show going on. So the first part of the show, we will be talking about the lies being told in boxing, which is the theme title of the show. Don't believe the hype. Look at the picture, see who's in there. Your favorite fighter is in there. It's a whole lot of hype with that. We pulling back the layers on the resumes. Don't take this personal. We just having a factual boxing conversation. Also, Tank and Devin are not the only fights in boxing. So why are we talking about those two guys? We will go in depth with that. Also, we'll be talking about Martin Coley calling out AJ saying, man, I would knock your lights right on out. And then the Bronze Bomber, the king, the only king in boxing. There's only one king in boxing. And he said he is not done. And then our final conversation is Teofimo Lopez becoming irrelevant. So once we start the show, we're going to do our topics, and then we will open up, and then we will emerge and counteract with the chat. So, hey, man, so let's get the show started. Salute to everyone. We got a great cook. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call out what it is. Now, let's just get right to it. We ain't going to waste no time. Don't believe the hype, because for so long right now, and I'm going to just say within the past 2 years, even though it's been longer than that, y'all been going back and forth and pooping on fighters about their resume and saying, well, this fighter hasn't fought nobody, but this fighter did. Well, the sad reality is that a lot of these fighters who you talk about, their resume is like that. It's hype. Yes, it's hype. Let's look at the picture. And I'm going to start it off with this one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, y'all got to stop this double standard. It cannot continue in the sport of boxing, because y'all get to talking about, complaining about fighters aging out a fighter. Now, people, you cannot age out someone that is older than you. Let's just start from the basics. You cannot age out a fighter that is older than you. So since y'all been running around and acting like people got a Hall of Fame resume, well, I'm going to pull one back from you. And I'm going to start with Devin Haney. This is no hate. This is just facts. This is what y'all been saying. Y'all acting like Devin Haney got a resume for the Hall of Famers. Devin Haney resume ain't good at all. Let's pull the layers back. Now, how dare y'all pick up this Devin Haney resume and y'all talk about where he fought Lomachenko? Lomachenko is 10 years older than Devin Haney. 10 years older than Devin Haney. When Devin Haney fought Lomachenko, you Hainites did not complain to your boy Devin Haney about fighting a man that was 10 years older than him and past his prime. If you look at your favorite fighter resume, you Hainites, respectfully, he always averaged around to fight someone on his resume between 6 to 12 years older than him. Then y'all talk about Regis Prograis? Oh, well, he fought Regis Prograis. Well, when the last time I heard that Regis Prograis was a future Hall of Famer? Mind you, Regis Prograis 17 years older than Devin Haney. So when Devin Haney moved up to 140 pounds to face Regis Prograis, his first fight at 140, he outweighed the man by 25 pounds, and he was 17 years younger. But he's the youngest in charge. But he's being a bully. He's running around fighting senior citizens. But y'all not saying anything about it. But if somebody else like, oh, Tank Davis is waiting, he waited until Lomachenko got old. Lomachenko is 6 years older than Tank Davis. So Tank Davis cannot age out Lomachenko. Blame Lomachenko for coming into the sport of boxing and fighting people when he's damn near a senior citizen because he spent 2 terms in the Olympics. And the Olympics is what, every 4 years? So why didn't Lomachenko, at his first ride and journey through the Olympics, why he didn't turn pro? He sat back and waited a whole another 4 years and kept on beating up on third graders. But Lomachenko is the guy to beat. He's the Muhammad Ali. He's the Matrix. So it has me thinking, well, why do Lomachenko get all this? So let's look at his resume. Because who the hell do he got on his resume? Well, let me think about it. Well, the 2 biggest things on Lomachenko's resume is Gary Russell Jr. and Teofimo Lopez. Now with Gary Russell Jr., the only thing that's messed up about that, and it don't age good for Lomachenko, is that Gary Russell has a very inconsistent career. He could have had one of the best careers, but he's inconsistent. So when you guys trying to do these things, we must be all the way honest because there's a whole lot of hype going on. Because I've been trying to figure out how did he become the man? Everybody just went off his skill set, but wasn't paying attention to his level of opposition. So if Lomachenko only has Teofimo and Gary Russell Jr. on his resume, then you can't be big enough Lomachenko because Gary's inconsistent. An inconsistent career doesn't mean he ain't a good fighter. Don't change up the words. It's just inconsistent. So it ain't too much you can ride off for that. Then Teofimo Lopez. You got to give Teofimo Lopez more credit than anybody that fought Lomachenko because one thing we know, Teofimo fought a prime, at least still what in his prime, Lomachenko, and he beat him. But Devin Haney fighting a 35-year-old Lomachenko that was already down there 10 years, somewhat past his prime, it's not good. It's not good bragging rights. It don't look good for who you trying to say is a Hall of Famer. So we must pull the layers back on these resumes. So now, actually, the best person on Lomachenko's resume would be Teofimo Lopez because he had a more of a consistent career and he made some things happen. For all you accolade lovers out there, for all you accolade lovers talking about undisputed and this, that, and the other. Well, I got something that trumps that, and that's lineal. So Teofimo Lopez, yeah, he wasn't undisputed. He was unified, and then kind of aged a little good for him, became lineal champion. So don't believe the hype. And it's so much, but it don't take me, and I would not take up the rest of this topic because I'm pretty sure my brothers been listening and they can add on right now because I'm going to pass the mic. So I'm going to go to my right, prize fighter. Is there any fighter that fits this topic right now? Because a lot of fighters are getting too much credit for the resume, and then some fighters are not getting enough credit for the resume. And before I pass you the mic, I told you guys before, none of these dudes didn't fight nobody until they fight each other, and y'all made it that way. What you got about prize? What you got on?
Yeah, I mean, people gonna always argue resumes and peel back resumes, but I'm with you pretty much. None of these guys really fought no real world beaters because we come from a different era, so we see it a little different. But like, I really don't have a problem with Tank's resume. I really don't have a problem with none of their resumes because I know what I'm looking at. So they got to fight each other. Then when they start fighting each other, then people might have a different opinion, but I feel like people like to grind Tank up about he ain't fought nobody, those guys. I mean, I don't think those was terrible guys. Devin Haney's resume, he ain't fought nobody, I don't have a problem with Devin's resume. You know what I'm saying? I don't got a problem with Lomachenko's resume. You know, he fought some good dudes. What was the boy name? The Axeman was nice. So he fought some dudes too, but I mean, I want to see them fight each other at the end of the day. There's nothing else to say about it. I'm not gonna go on like OG Crush, but they got to fight each other at the end of the day.
Tommy, what you got?
Oh, salute, man. Yeah, I was listening good, man. I don't really buy into the hype. All the hype they have for these fighters, I don't buy into the hype. I think I look at things pretty rational, man. Devin, Devin got an all right resume. You know what I'm saying? He got an all right resume. He got a decent resume, but not what was hyped up to be. Loma, when they was talking about he was the next Ali, he was this, that, and the third. I never bought none of that. When he went to fight Gary Russell Jr., I picked against him. I thought Gary Russell was gonna wash him. But when he beat Gary Russell in his third fight, he proved to me, man, he's something special, man. To me, the man is something special. But what I think the problem lies, you get these stars who they trying to make and they want to wait years until they build them up to fight each other. It wasn't like that back in the days. Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray, they was young dudes when they fought each other and they got paid handsomely. Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya, they were young dudes. De La Hoya was a young dude when he fought Chavez. Like they want to build these dudes' resume up with half-ass fights, decent fights, old names until they have such a hype that now they want to demand money for and make a huge fight. They got to start fighting each other earlier while they coming up. I don't got a problem with prospects fighting each other. I like when Michelle Rivera and Frank Martin fought each other. It need to be more fights like that, man. They need to start getting at it. That's all I got.
D Free, Cook. Free, you there? He'll be up in a second. You ready to cook, Free?
I got it.
You on mute, bro?
Yeah, I had it on mute. My bad. I want to go a little bit different direction. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yep, you good.
Yeah. So when it goes to don't believe the hype, I want to lean on the fact of some of these guys are not getting the credit that they deserve. Now let's talk about this fight that's happening February 1st. A lot of people say David Morrell is in way over his head. David Benavidez is going to walk through him. Well, let's look at David Morrell's resume. His first fight, which was his debut, he had a fighter, Rodriguez Valdez, who was 2-6. That was a debut fight. He knocked him out in the first round. His second fight, which was Quentin Rankin. He was 15-6 with 2 draws. He stopped him in the second round. Then he had Lennox Island, 22-0 with 1 draw, got a unanimous decision. Then he had Mike Gavas, I can't pronounce his last name. He was 26-3 with 1 draw, knocked him out in the third round. Then he had Mario, who was 12-0, knocked him out in the first round. Then he had Alanis Fox, who was 28-2 with 1 draw, knocked him out in the fourth round. Then he had Calvin Henderson, who was 15-1-1, knocked him out in the fourth round. Then he had Aldous, I can't pronounce his last name. He was 16-0, knocked him out. They don't even say what round he knocked. Oh, he knocked him out in the 12th round. My bad. He knocked him out in the 12th round. Then he fought Falco. He was 24-1-1, knocked him out in the first round. Then he had Cena, who was 28-2, knocked him out in the second round. And then he had Hot Rod, which was at 175, and he got a unanimous decision. So the one thing that I find that was a common factor in all of these fights, whether there was knockout or there was unanimous decision, the one thing that I find a common factor, all of these guys had a winning record except for his debut. Every last one of these guys had a winning record except for his debut. The only one guy had more than 3 losses was his second fight. He was 15-6. Everybody else that he's fought besides his first 2 fights hadn't had more than 3 losses. Some of them was undefeated fighters. So we got to take in context of what this man has been doing since he became a pro. He only fought 6 rounds 1 time, the first debut. He fought an 8-rounder, his second fight. After that, 12 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 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 rounds, and 12 rounds. This man has 11 fights, and he's only fought a 6-round and an 8-round 1 time. Never fought a 4-rounder. This man was put into the fire right off the break. Right off the break, he was put into the fire. So when people say, he don't have the experience, I might need to step back and look at his resume and look at the caliber of fighters that he's actually been fighting. These ain't no run-of-the-mill type fighters. And you say, but who did they fight? Doesn't matter who they fought. He's not fighting who he fought. He's fighting that fighter who was 28-2 or 26-0. He's fighting that guy. He's not fighting his resume. He's fighting him. So a lot of times we look at the resume and we get name friendly. The name recognition clicks a bell in our head and say, you know what? That's a good fighter. I know who that is. That's a good fighter. When all actuality, you got to really dig into it. Okay, yeah, he's somebody I know, but when did he fight him? How old was he? Was he on a decline or was he still in his prime? Like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez got a whole busload of good names on his resume, but then when you start to dig into the resume and find out, he was fighting this guy, they was out of their prime. So a lot of people look at the resume and say, this is a good resume, this is a bad resume. Basically, a resume is based off of opinion. Who you believe is a good fighter, who you don't believe is a good fighter. Now, you can look at certain fighters and say, you know what, he ain't that good. But it's kind of hard to say these guys are not good when they undefeated or only had 3 losses or only had 2 losses or only had 1 loss. Kind of hard to say they're not a good fighter. But I'll let you go ahead, Crush.
Good point by the entire panel. But like I was saying, so we know in the game of boxing, when it comes to the fans, their thing is that they like to big up a fighter. And there's pee and poop on other fighters, which I think is very unfair. This is why I say don't believe the hype, because when you downplaying somebody else's resume and you blowing up someone else's resume, and then when you go and inspect the decade, then it might be vice versa, because like D. Free said, what he just explained, So do y'all see what's going on here? And that's why you have to make sure when you are opening your mouth and you have people listening to it, you can have your opinion, but basic off of facts, not your personal preference. Because you can have an opinion, but if your opinion is not making no point and it doesn't equal out the fact, then it's just an opinion that stinks like an onion. But the thing is, a lot of these fighters' resumes that they say are good are really not good. That's what I'm pointing out. And what D. Free is pointing out is the other side, where you say fighters' resumes are not that good, but they might be actually better than the guy that you think that their resume is better. Now, honestly, none of these guys currently have a whole bunch of Hall of Famers and killers and things like that. Let's just be honest. But when we get to the part where, everybody's taking notice and they looking, they seeing things, and you cannot put out your own narrative into the public atmosphere. You cannot, because that don't exist. What you think personally does not exist in the public environment. That only matters to you. So when you bring it out into the public and people disagree with it, whatever, you cannot get an attitude. And then when people bring facts along with the conversation, you should not get all uptight about it, because it's not for us to take these fighters personal because we have a passion for the sport. You don't take them personal. And these guys take them personal. That's why I don't believe the hype, because there's a whole bunch of personal nonsense behind it. You do not and should not have to fluff up somebody's resume. Their resume is what it is. Don't try to make it seem like it's more than what it is. Because when the smoke clears and when the truth is revealed, then what are you going to say? So I say, people, when you talk about resumes and these fighters, be honest. I don't care. You can be a Tank maniac, be honest. If Tank is getting there with a guy, he's not that good, be honest. If on his resume, he only got like 7 good fighters on there, then it's that. Don't make it seem like he got 14 or 20 when it's really not that. That's what they doing. And everybody on this panel and everybody in the chat know that's what they are doing. So that's why I came to blow the whistle, because we have to do our duty in leading the boxing talk in the right way, because we have a lot of people that's starting to learn the sport. They just starting to watch the sport right now, and as we speak, you got new subscribers every day. Somebody is popping up. So if you're grabbing their attention, do not steer them wrong. Keep your bad personal habits in the dark. Do not bring them out in the public, because when you do, you're stirring up trouble. And when you're stirring up trouble, things is going to happen. And what's happening right now is that I'm just speaking facts. I have nothing personal against none of these fighters. But I'm not going to make something seem like it is, and it's really not. So as I continue, before we go on to the next topic of tonight's show, don't do that. Let these fighters in their careers pan out. It is what it is. If your favorite fighter is looking shaky, where you looking shaky, meditate for him. Pray for him or whatever. But don't get mad because your favorite fighter looking suspect to you right now, but you're not honest. But instead of you getting on your favorite fighter like you would get on your own child, you're going to go get on somebody else. What is y'all doing? We cannot continue to do this. Then y'all talk about Kambosos. Kambosos is Vanilla Ice. a one-hit wonder. That's it. But you try to make Kambosos be more than what the hell he really is. He's not elite. He's not A. He's not B. He's a C-level fighter. This split decision king who got him by default of a skilled fighter who was being a mule, and he turned himself into a jackass and lost to a guy that he should not lost to. But y'all gonna try to make it seem like this guy's elite. He been tearing up stuff and all this. Stop the nonsense. All because you want a certain fighter to be above everyone else. Well, the only way that fighter that you so in love with can be above everyone else. If he does it in the ring, what are y'all doing? Captain, it's not allowed over here. Talking about fighters that been laid off for 2 years, and then they get in the ring with somebody, and you want to give that person credit for fighting somebody that came off a layoff? You want to give a fighter credit for fighting a guy that's a decade or even more older than them? Are y'all serious? But if somebody else fight the same old senior citizen, he's a senior citizen. But no, when it comes to him fighting a certain fighter, oh, the fault in the youth. You make that make sense in your old delusional nonsense. That's not boxing talk. That's not boxing cook. That's boxing nonsense. And you're not helping your so-called favorite fighter that you are goddamn fanatic of. These fighters and their resumes, they only talking. They're not telling anything. They're only talking. And then when it's all over and when their career ends, then we having another conversation. So to be saying that somebody is a Hall of Famer and they still active in their career sounds like a bunch of mess. And they haven't even done enough to be a damn Hall of Famer. Even though Hall of Fame is just a popularity vote. That's all it is. So if y'all want to brag and boast about that, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Which so is a whole bunch of fighters that been getting their behinds kicked from corner to corner. It's Hall of Famers. And they Hall of Famers for getting their behind whipped. You make that make sense. A fictional character is in a Hall of Fame. You want to big it up, make it make sense. That's why it's called Don't Believe the Hype. That's why it's simply called Don't Believe the Hype. So meaning don't believe what you saying out your own mouth, because that's all y'all blowing is hype. Not all of you guys. They're guilty ones. You don't have to plead the fifth. Just don't say nothing, because it's nothing for you to say. Because the only thing you're going to do is play down the truth. Nah, that don't work over here. Truth is truth. I don't care how much good with deflector, how much you good at ignoring. You had all these years of practicing because you was ignoring your parents. But that don't work over here. We're talking boxing. We talking the sweet science of boxing and all the things that's supposed to come with boxing. Not you as a viewer acting like you run somebody's damn career. Like somebody's supposed to fight somebody, fight who you want them to fight when you want them to fight them. It's not your career. You don't get to call the shots on that. Stay in your lane, be a fan. So we're going to close that out on that. But trust me, catch me tomorrow at 6 a.m. I will revisit the first topic again. So I'm going to move on. We're going to move on to the next topic. And the next topic we have, hey, Devin Haney and Tank Davis is not the only boxers in boxing. Devin Haney and Tank Davis is no longer in the same weight class. Devin Haney right now is inactive. Tank Davis is fighting Lamont Roach. So the only thing you should be babbling out your mouth, no matter if you hating or you speaking facts, is Tank fighting Lamont Roach. Not Devin Haney, not Shakur Stevenson, Not the 12 disciples, not none of that. Not Alibaba and his 40 thieves. Stay on course. That's why you don't get what you want when you want it, because you think you could talk about it and it's supposed to happen when you want it to happen. Boxing has a lot of good fighters in it. Boxing has a lot of somewhat star type of names. And boxing only has a few stars. So stop talking about the same old ish that ain't going to happen and most likely ain't going to happen. Talk about what's happening. Stop talking about what the hell ain't happening. Y'all keep on skipping to the Lou, my darling, and clicking y'all bobos 3 times and think you're going to go to odds and get what you want. Now, I am going to pass the mic. Prize fighter. They are the only 2 boxes.
Yes.
So why the hell they keep bringing them up?
I'm tired of talking about Devin Haney versus Tank Davis. I don't want to hear nothing else about it. Let's focus on Devin, whatever he decides to do. If you support him, support him. I support all of them. So I'll be watching whatever he does next. But for right now, we got Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. That's it. We got to get through that. That's not a bad fight. I wish people stop trying to tear it down. I don't mind the fight. It's not what I want, but I don't mind the fight. It's not the only fight. Like Crush said, we got other people coming up. You don't know what Terrence Crawford, you got Earl Spence, God knows what he's doing. It's just other fighters than just them. So I'm tired of talking about, I don't want to talk about it. Dev might move to welterweight for all we know. Tank not going up there. So just them 2 leaving on. Now, if you want to go back and forth with him and Shakur, go right ahead. I don't got no problem with it. I want to see that fight. I'm pretty sure everybody on the panel and the chat want to see the fight. But right now, that's not the only fight. And I don't got to say no more. I'm going to keep it brief.
Be free.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta understand. Everybody's saying boxing is dying and boxing is not where it once was. Well, we're part of the blame for that. We tearing down these fighters and tearing down these fights. We gotta build up this sport. You gotta even if it's not a fight that you wanted at that time, you still gotta build up the sport. You don't see the other nationalities, and I'm not talking about black and white. I'm talking about the other countries. They don't tear down their fighters. They get behind their fighters, regardless of who they fighting. They get behind them because they know that's their countrymen. We're the only country. If we have a fighter that's fighting overseas, we're rooting for the other fighter for the most part. For a lot of these fights, we're rooting for the other fighter. We're the only country that does that. Now, I don't care about who you root for, but when you start to tear down the fighter and tear down their opponent, well, you tear down this opponent. Let's say you tear down Lamont Roach, and you say this is a trash fight. I don't want to see Tank Davis in there, and Tank Davis could be fighting somebody else. And you say Lamont Roach ain't done nothing. He doesn't deserve a fight. Well, after this fight, Lamont Roach decided to go and fight your favorite fighter. You can't turn around and ask for credit for Lamont Roach because you didn't give the credit to Tank Davis. And same with any other fight, not just this fight. The same with Shakur Stevenson and Kid Austin. If you tear down Kid Austin and saying Shakur should be fighting somebody else, he doesn't deserve it, he's not that good and all that. Well, when Kid Austin go fight your favorite fighter, you can't turn around and give Kid Austin praise. So we gotta stop tearing down the fight and then complain that the sport is dying. Well, the sport is dying because us quote unquote diehard boxing fans is putting down the sport to where when casuals listen to what we're saying, they're like, oh, why am I going to watch that? Why am I going to pay for it? Y'all saying it's not a good fight. Well, if you turn it down, they're not going to pay for it. If you're saying this fight, we already know what the outcome is going to be. They're not going to pay for it. So we got to build the sport back up to where it was, where people was loving to see the fight regardless of who the fight was. Like I said a couple of days ago, if you go back and look at the Four Kings resume, they didn't fight all killers at the time that you wanted them to fight. There were some guys in there that you were like, you know what, they don't belong in there. But I was happy to see the fight. I was happy to see the fighter that I wanted to see. I wanted to see Sugar Ray Leonard. I didn't care who he was fighting. I wanted to see him fight. I wanted to see Tommy Hitman Hearns. I didn't care who he was fighting. I wanted to see him fight. The same goes for Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, all of these guys. You wanted to see them fight. You didn't care who they fought. You just wanted to see them fight. So you got to stop tearing down these fighters and build up the sport again. That's all I got on it.
Good points made by all, man. I appreciate y'all. One thing I want to say in this era of talking about fights that are never going to happen, that are never going to get made, fighters clout chasing each other. That's what a lot of that is. You got David Benavidez. He was chasing Canelo. Canelo ain't give him a fight. What'd he do? He turned around. He fought Plant. He fought Boo Boo Andre. He moved up and waited for Vosdick. That's 3 dangerous opponents in a row. And now he about to take on a 4th one in David Morrell. Big props to David Benavidez because exactly what Crush was railing against. He doing the opposite. David Benavidez is getting to it, man. He's making the fights we want to see. Man, it's hard for me to root against him, but I am rooting for Morrell. And props to Morrell. Morrell got 11, 12 fights, and he getting in the ring with a solidified beast in Benavidez, man. I appreciate that, man. Them dudes are doing what's supposed to be done. You know what I'm saying? I'm also give props to Frank Martin. Give props to Frank Martin. He been trying to get some scraps. He been in a few good scraps. He fought Michelle Rivera. He got Tank. He had a little hard time with Artem, but he got past that. He's trying to get some fights too, man. So I tend to look at the good side, man. I stay away from these dudes that are clout chasing each other. Talking about fights that are never going to happen. There's a lot of people talking about Tank versus Bud. Like, come on, man. That shit ain't never going to happen. Things like that, I don't even talk about it, man.
Great point, Coach Tommy. Great point, Prize Fighter, and also D Free. Shout out to the chat. We'll be talking to y'all in a few. We just want to get past the rest of the topics. So we're gonna keep the show going on. That was a great cook, everyone. Great points, and we're gonna go on to the next topic. I like the way things is flowing. So the next topic, and this is one that I want to talk about, man. My man Marcus Bakole. You know who excited me in 2024.
Yes.
He did the thing, the Big Baby Anderson, the man that arguably beat Usyk. I say that's a hell of a win for Bakole. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what's going on. So the beef is going on with Bakole and AJ. AJ. I figured this man would make a plan to just stay away and go kick it with his feet up and a lazy boy. But I was saying 2025 should be the year of some fighters retiring, but some of them just die hard like the Bruce Willis movie, and they gonna wind up blowing up like the Nakatomi building, being in there too long. So Bakole came out and said, yo, AJ, I want to knock you out. Yeah, you talking trash, AJ. I will beat you up. The guy that knocked you out, I shatter his nose. So yes, don't talk, AJ. Don't do no talking. Let's do some squabbling. How do y'all feel about Bakole and the AJ beef? I haven't heard what AJ said in his song. If he ain't saying the same thing Bakole is saying, then I'm going to tune deaf. Prize Fighter, what do you have on Bakole and AJ? Cook.
I don't think that's a good fight for AJ at all. But I do like Martin Bakole. He did excite me this year too, Crush. When I think we watched the fight together on the panel, and Bakole, he reminded everybody saying he was like George Foreman, like how he was throwing, like his punches was landing, and how he was setting them up, and that was just a bad fight for Big Baby Anderson. I think Bacole's a bad fight for any of these heavyweights. Or some good fights. I like to see him and Usyk get in there, or Daniel Dubois. I like to see that. But as far as Bakole and AJ, he calling out AJ. That's cool and all. He needs a bigger name than Big Baby on his resume. So I don't mind him calling him out. I would love to see the fight, but I just think it's bad for AJ. If he go get in there with man, that's not going to end well for AJ. I think McCauley's on fire right now, and I think he's moving forward, and I think he's not playing around. He done whooped some people in sparring. I know y'all like to don't count that, but they say he's stopping your favorite heavyweights in sparring, and there ain't nobody out there challenging him, saying, ain't nobody saying, man, when you do that, nobody's contesting it. So I'm excited for McCauley, but I don't mind that fight, but that's a good stepping stone for Bacoli, but it's not going to end well for AJ. It'll end by a brutal knockout. A savage. They're going to have to pick AJ up.
Wow. Coach Tommy, good cook, prize fighter, good cook. Coach Tommy hit us with a body shot.
Yeah, Bacoli looking so good. He does remind me of Foreman because he's knocking dudes around the ring with arm punches.
Mhm.
Like he one of them dudes. He got that big fat. You ever see them dudes like Bacoli, man? I know you met dudes like this in your life, man. These dudes are just big. They muscular, but they chubby and they got retarded strength. He one of them dudes, man. He's one of them dudes. I don't want to see him fight AJ. AJ's a loser at this point. We just seen AJ get his ass handed to him, man, in a brutal fashion. I want to see him fight Bacoli. I want to see Bacoli fight a winner. If AJ takes a fight against Bacoli, I think he's delusional. You know what I'm saying? AJ got to realize where he's at in his career. He getting touched up, man. If you throw a punch too close to his chin, he gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like he got to realize where he's at. He need to take a tune up, man. He better stay away from Bacoli. Straight up. I want to see Bacoli against the best. I would love to see him against Dubois, Usyk. I don't never want to see Tyson Fury in the ring again, but I wouldn't mind seeing Bacoli beat his ass though. Yeah, that's all I got.
D-Free, you down with me? Kick it one time for the symphony.
Hey, I like the way that Bacoli is moving. He wants to put the biggest names on his resume, and the only way to be noticed is by going in and fighting who a lot of people know who they are. If AJ doesn't take that fight, what I would like to see Martin Bacoli do, I would like to see him rematch Michael Hunter and get that win. I would like to see that fight happen because that fight was a back and forth fight the entire fight until that last round. He got caught with a shot and Michael Hunter jumped on him and the referee stepped in and stopped the fight. He didn't get knocked down or anything like that, but he was wobbled. So I would like to see him rematch him, but I have nothing against Martin Bacoli by calling out AJ. That's what he's supposed to do. He's a upcoming fighter, and the way you get noticed is by calling out the big names and trying to get them in the ring, and not just calling them out and just to call them out, but actually trying to get them in the ring. That's how you get noticed. So I have nothing to say bad about what Martin Bacoli is doing right now for his career because he doesn't have the big promoter behind him. He doesn't have the machine behind him. But if you go out there and you beat a guy like Big Baby Anderson and then turn around, follow that up with AJ, and you turn around and follow that up with another big name, the promoter is going to want to sign you. Somebody's going to want to put you on their roster because they know eventually you're going to be a heavyweight champion. So I have nothing to say bad about the way he's moving right now.
Hey, a shout out to my panel. Shout out to Coach Tommy, prize fighter, and D-Free. Shout out to Bio and Tommy. Great point. Once again, everybody, great points. I love when we having boxing conversations and a healthy boxing conversations, and everyone know what they talking about. Even the chat, I love it. I'm gonna say this before we go on to the next topic. Now, I don't know where it started. I don't know if Bacoli's being a bully or AJ came out and said something. But at the end of the day, I do agree with everyone who says this is not a good fight for AJ because he's halfway out the door. So he should be fighting somebody that's along with him. Which leads me to the next topic, leads us to the next topic. And somebody in the chat, Gregory Pratt, shout out to JBT, said, what about Wilder? Well, what about Wilder? The next topic is about the Bronze Bomber, the King, Deontay Wilder. And he said, wait a minute. Pause, as in the Run DMC song, not the Pauls y'all talking about. Okay, I don't get down with the bright stuff. Okay, no, I don't like bright colors like that. But anyways, Deontay Wilder, who is one of the classmen who I think was going to be retiring in 2025, because there's just a few fighters I think it's time for them to retire because they did enough. Some of them they achieved a lot, and some of them they achieved some, and then they fell short. But if Wilder said he's not done, then I can't argue with Wilder. I would like to talk to him, say, hey, bro, you're great. You are a Hall of Famer. What you did, you are rare. You would never see anyone else with the Deontay Wilder story. I would want you to go and relax, big guy. But he's going to look at me and probably just shove my little ass across the room nicely, but I'm a fly anyway because I'm only 5'5" and weigh about 139 pounds. You know, he going to say, man, I ain't done yet. So if he ain't done yet, we got to let a warrior be a warrior. So I know this sounds good for some who still want to see the Browns bomber. Now, my question, and I will answer my own question, then I'm going to pass the mic. Now, since he's not done, but he's half baked, let's just be honest. Might not be done. He's not too far from being fully cooked because that's what he said, but he's halfway there. So I would rather for him to be in there with someone that's in the same condition as him. We don't need Deontay Wilder. With being, you know, the warrior that he is, and the best of Deontay Wilder has exit stage left, people. That exit after the last fight with Tyson Fury. It's not much left in Deontay Wilder because of Tyson Fury. It's not much left in Tyson Fury because Deontay Wilder. So the only fight right now, since Deontay Wilder wants to continue, he says he's not done, the only fight I will want to see Deontay Wilder in is a fight that a lot of us been wanting to see. And I think this fight is perfect for the both of these men because they have baked. I would like to see him in there with AJ. So I do agree with everyone saying they don't want to see AJ in there with Piccoli. So now I'm going to pass the mic to my brother, Richie Rich. What you got on it?
Yeah, doesn't Wilder got another fight coming up, so hopefully he could get past that guy. He hasn't looked like himself in the last couple fights or whatever. We all know, like Crush said, he's half baked at this point. So I think that would be a nice farewell fight for the both of them. And I don't know why I still want to see it. I just do, bro, because it's supposed to have been happen for Undisputed, but it didn't happen. And shout out to the chat. We see y'all, but I think they should do a farewell fight. AJ and Wilder. Wilder goes in there and can knock. What's the guy named Shaw? Dang, Stephen Shaw.
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. If he goes in there and can knock him out or just win the fight, I think Turkey would set that up. I still think the fight will sell. I still think if they do it over there, I think they would get big money, and they both can. And whoever get knocked out can just go sell, sell away. That's it. I think they should have a farewell fight against each other. It would probably be massive.
Cool. Coach Tommy.
Yeah, I think that would be the perfect matchup. You know what I'm saying? They both coming off knockoff losses. And keep it real, they looking chinny. Wilder's a warrior, man. He's a warrior. He did some amazing things. But the way he reacts to shots now is kind of scary. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I kind of look like he's like he's just suffering. So like he's vulnerable to take more damage is the way he looks now. Like he's more vulnerable to brain damage. Like he's literally taking years off his life. I want to see AJ and Wilder back in the days. Now, I don't want to see that shit, man. Like you're not gonna stab me in the back, pull the knife halfway out, and expect me to be grateful. They should have fought a while ago. I don't want to see that. They both shells of themselves. I'll watch it. I'll watch it because I'm a boxing junkie. I'm dead boxing. I'll watch it, but I'm not excited about that, man. I'm really not.
I ain't mad at you.
D3, so you. You're on mute, bro.
Yeah, I'm one of the people that said Wilder is done. After I saw what I saw with the Joseph Parker, and then turn around, I saw what I saw in the Big Bang fight. Um, I I think Wilder is done. Now he got one more fight. If he goes in there against Matt Truck and he gets beat by Matt Truck, he is completely done. There's no way that Matt Truck should make it out of 5 rounds with Wilder. Matt Truck, for one, is way too small. He's a heavy dude, but he's way too small for Wilder to let him go past 5 rounds. So if he make it out of 5 rounds or he beats Wilder, uh, Wilder is done. He's done. You might as well stick a fork in him, get your gravy, get your mashed potatoes, get your cornbread. He's done.
Wow, great point, D3, prize fighter, and Coach Tommy. I do not disagree with what you said. But the reason why I brought up AJ because I wish he was done. I wish he wasn't getting in the ring with Matt Truck. So I would rather. I don't even want to see him in there with Matt Truck. And even though you are right, Coach Tommy, and I have won so much money over the years because I kept on saying, AJ don't want to fight this man. And then when he starts speaking on him, it's after the man had lost. But okay, he's going to get in the ring, and like D3 said, I think he's already done. I thought he was done at the Parker. He was done to me, but I don't get to control his career. I'm just a fan, so I'm going to respect it. But I really agree with everybody. But damn, Coach Tommy, you really got me right there. And everybody points was great. But damn, yeah. It's a shame that you would rather see that because you didn't see him in the prime. So I'm going to watch it just because I'm a boxing guy, and that's what it is. So I'm with you on that, Coach Tommy. So now we're coming up on the last topic before we open up and talk to the chat. So the last one here is Teofimo Lopez becoming irrelevant. So what I'm going to do this time, I am not going to start it off. So I'm going to start off with D3, and then we'll go after there.
We offered Haney the fight, and Haney didn't want it. So we'll find the big fight for Teofimo. He's a great talent.
What is your response to Bob Arum saying that?
Bob, like I said, when you have Devin as a promoter, you have our team. We know how vindictive promoters can be, and we know how they can lie. Bob Arum was not 100% truthful in the sense of that Turki Al-Sheikh put a fight on the table for Devin and Teofimo Lopez and Riyadh season. I think that the fight with that Turki put on the table was an opportunity where there wouldn't be any squalms or, you know what I mean, any flack towards either team. It was a fair opportunity for us to come to the table. We don't work for Bob. We're not handcuffed to Bob. Teofimo Lopez is. So to say that you put something on the table for us when you haven't sold a pay-per-view, you haven't sold out an arena, and then to say that you put something on the table where you would be the A side and we would be the B side was an insult. And I believe that they knew that it was an insult as to why he came out and he said it. But he left out the fact that they turned down the deal when Turki Al-Sheikh put it on.
Okay, well, that was Bill Haney, and we are not going to go off of what Bill Haney said. BBO put that up there. That's a good thing. But it's not about what Bill Haney said or how Bill Haney feel, and even with Bob Arum to an extent. But is he becoming irrelevant, D3?
I wouldn't say he's becoming irrelevant. I think he's still a big name at 140. It's just the selection of opponents. He'll get a good fight, and then we'll see him drop down. in the selection of opponents. Now, like I said, it's no problem having a easy fight here and there. It's just when there's opportunities for you to fight somebody else. Like we always talk about, we want the big fights, and these big fights can't happen all the time. And that granted, that is true. But when the opportunity for a big fight is there to be made, you got to take it. So Tio has squandered the big opportunities a few times in his career. So I'm not saying he's irrelevant, but he has to make right decisions. You can't just keep thinking everybody's got to do what you want to do. You're not the main attraction to some of these guys that you want to fight. You're not the main attraction. The main attraction are the other guys that you want to fight. The Bud Crawford, the Jerron Bucenis, Tank Davis. Those are the main attractions. You're not the main attraction. Even Devin Haney, he's still more of a main attraction than you are, regardless of how we felt about the Ryan situation. He's still more of an attraction than Tio is, because if you fighting a guy like Josh Taylor and y'all couldn't even fill up the theater at Madison Square Garden, that's a problem, because Josh Taylor had just came off an undisputed fight and he beat Jack Catterall. Now, a lot of us believe that he lost that fight, but nevertheless, he still walked away as the winner. We know Jack Catterall has fans. So, Tio, you got to build up your fan base in order for you to talk the way that you talk. So, I'm not going to say he's irrelevant, but he needs to make better decisions.
Prize fighter.
Nah, I don't think he's irrelevant, but he's been saying a bunch of stupid stuff to keep him relevant, but he got to get in the ring soon. He's been doing a lot of talking, no action. He need to get up in there and do something. He got, like Free said, I don't know why he talked like he the A side and he runs stuff, because you seen what happened when he tried to run the Triller. That didn't work out too good for him. So he just need to humble himself a little bit more and get in the ring and do what he's supposed to do. He's still a big name to some of these guys. If he wants to move up the welterweight, I'm okay with that. If he wants to keep going at 40, that's cool. It's some good fights he can make up there. So he need to just watch what he say, focus on boxing, get in the ring, and keep it boxing. Because he say too much stupid stuff, but he's not a fan favorite right now. I'll tell you that. A lot of people not rocking with Tio, but he still a big name nevertheless in the ring. But he got to get it together 25 for sure.
Good point. Coach Tommy.
Yeah, I think Tio's relevant. He's still relevant, but his star is starting to dim. You know what I'm saying? Like he was shining bright, but he ain't shining so bright no more because he squandered a few opportunities for a few big fights. You just had Subriel Matias on the table, and you gave that up. You kidding me, man? You give that like for someone who he crying so bad about everyone else. He making all these wild inflammatory statements, to anger black people and shit. But now you get an opportunity for a big fight to really put you on the map, and what do? You don't make the fight. Like, come on, dog. Like, I can't. I used to rock with Tio hard, man. I can't rock with him at all, man. His star is dimming. He's still relevant because he's good. You know what I'm saying? He's exciting. He's an exciting fighter to watch, but he's just making bad decisions, man. And he got like these real delusions of grandeur. He thinks he's bigger than he is. Like he thinks who the fuck he is, man. Like he thinks like he's like really, really that dude. Like the boxing world should be chasing him. Like he should be making $10 million a fight. Yet he turning down fight after fight. Come on, man. Now you not only turning down fight after fight, you making enemies of other fighters. You making enemies of the fans. You squabbling with promoters. You talking about your own promoter. You backbiting your own promoter every day, left and right. Fuck Tio, man. He could fade into oblivion, man. Fuck that dude.
Yeah, I'm over Tio myself.
Cool. Coach Tommy with the F-bombs.
Oh, my bad.
You know what, Coach Tommy, it's cool. We try to keep it clean, but if the guests do it, they it's going to come out as long as my other four, the Fab Four. We got to keep it cool just as much, and you ain't been cussing all night like that, and you only said 3, so
This is a sick Negro.
there it is, see, but yeah, he's not complaining. But let's end this topic on this, and then we're gonna
This is a sick Negro.
I think we all sick breathing in this damn air, that this poison that they putting out there. We all sick. That's why we lose our minds at sometimes. But is he irrelevant? No, he's not irrelevant. He's very relevant. But I would say he's a little stagnated. Yes, he's stagnated because everything that all 3 of my partners has just said up on this panel, he think he's bigger than the sport. A lot of guys do, but I think T.O. Gets the reigning champion title as that. And what he does not realize that by him stagnating his career, because he's the one that's stagnating his career with the way that he's acting, the things that he says, and a lot of people take the boxing hustle the wrong way when they try to pick up, be a villain in itself. That don't work for everybody. Okay. And it's not working for T.O. So he's stagnating his career with the things that he's saying. But luckily, he's still relevant because somebody and a lot of people want to see T.O. get his ass kicked.
Right.
The people want to see someone shut T.O. up. And that, as much as a lot of people want to see Tank Davis lose, nobody wants to see anybody get their ass kicked more than Teofimo Lopez. So what he needs to do is takes what he's doing and make it work for him. See, he's the reason why his money is stagnated. His market value is stagnated because of him. But he blames the fans, and then he come out and, throw out the color card and, oh, well, you can have the black fighters. And I'm like, bro, this don't sound good. If I see you, I would slap you in your face. I'm not worrying about you. And this is the reason why a lot of fighters would like to get their hands on T.O. So T.O., if you're not listening, hopefully someone from your camp is listening. Your PR person, if you have one, you have to tell him he's hurting his own career. Can't blame it on the fans. Can't blame it on the fighters. You can't blame it on the promoters. And we know the promoters is at fault with a lot of things. But these fighters, when they are wrong, when they are in it wrong, they got to be held accountable for those things. And the reason why the question was brought up, was he irrelevant? And he's really not. But the question should have been, and there's nothing wrong with what BBO said, but I think the better question would have been, is he stagnating his career? Because yes, the hell he is. Because everybody made great points. So T.O., stop acting like a clown. It ain't working for you. Homie, don't play that was our favorite clown, and that was Living Color, homie. So give up the clown suit, even though you might naturally come straight out of a comic book, like Jim Kelly said. Be the best version of coming out of a comic book, because there's a lot of characters in comic books that we like. So be that. You on the wrong side, T.O. You want to get that money, you got to change your mannerism, young man. You're not bigger than the sport. None of these guys are bigger than the sport. Boxing fans, you're not bigger than the sport. Calm down, son. You're killing me. Now, that is all our topics for today's show. Shout out to the panel. We're not done yet. We're not done. But we're past the topics. And I know that, everybody in the chat love this part, and even the panel. So it's open topic. We can talk about whatever. We can address some of the things that the people were saying in the channel. We can shout everyone out. So I'm gonna start it off, and y'all help me out. I'm gonna just say shout out to my featured champ, Naeem the Dream, Tim Layton, JBT, and BBO with his crazy self. And fellas, y'all want to shout everybody out and address anything or come up with anything, this is what we doing. So right now we in the gumbo part of the show when it's just the ultimate mix with the chat. What y'all got? Chat, what y'all got?
Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
But before we get into the mix, a shout out to our sponsors, RayconGlobal.com. Just imagine, y'all been listening to this great cook by this great panel. Salute to the panel. Great co-host. Wouldn't even sound better when you can cancel out the noise of your children or your babbling woman with some nice headphones. Go to RayconGlobal.com and listen to us in high definition. So with everything that's coming up in 25, man, how y'all feeling about that? With everything that's coming up, with everything that's going on in the first quarter of 25, which y'all excited about the most?
Well, I got two things I'm excited about. Oh, go ahead, D.
The one thing that I'm excited about the most is David versus David, but I'm excited for all of the fights because we got a lot of good fights for this first quarter of 2025. It might not be the fights that we wanted, but it's a lot of good fights for the first quarter of 2025. This time last year, we didn't have no good fights until roughly around March. We ain't had no real good fights until like March. So they got a lot of good fights lined up for the first quarter. So I'm excited for all these fights, but the one that I'm the most excited for is David versus David because that's not just a meaningful fight, but it's what we've been asking for. These young guys to get in the ring in the middle of their prime. These guys are right in their prime at the peak of their prime. Morrell might have a little more growing to do, but we'll find out on February 1st exactly how much growing he has to do, or if he has to do any growing at all, because he might be the king of the throne after February 1st. So it's a lot on the line for February 1st as far as these two guys because either one of these guys can take over the Latino fan base with a win in this fight. It could be David Benavidez taking over that throne and Canelo being dethroned, or it could be David Morrell being the guy that nobody really knew about, and now all of a sudden he just jumped straight to stardom. So I'm excited for the first quarter.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Coach.
Whatever y'all like.
Go ahead, Coach.
I'm definitely hyped, man. I'm definitely hyped about this first quarter. I'm super hyped about David versus David. That's an action-packed fight. I'm also hyped for January 25th. My new favorite lightweight, Andy Cruz. He replaced Tank for me. But my new favorite lightweight, Andy Cruz, is fighting Omar Salcido. If y'all don't know who Omar Salcido is, Omar Salcido he just stopped Chris Colbert. He's 20-1 with 14 knockouts. He's a big puncher. He's experienced. My man Andy Cruz, he only got 5 professional fights. Most dudes is fighting 4-rounders, 6-rounders. But to have five pro fights and jump in there with a dude that's 20-1 with 14 knockouts, who just knocked out quality opponent, man, it says a lot. And I hope the trajectory of Andy Cruz keeps going that way. You know what I'm saying? I really want to see him fast track. He's the goods, man. He's really.
I rock with him too.
Yeah, I like Andy Cruz.
I rock with him too.
And I heard he running a lot of people out that gym in Philly too.
Yeah, that I did hear that, Coach Tommy. I talked to 1 or 2 guys from a couple of gyms here and there, and I have heard that. And for all you Keyshawn Davis fans, he got Andy Cruz problems.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited. If I may go real quick, Prize. I'm excited. I like the first quarter. This is the best start off to boxing since 2023, 2022 was the last time it got off. The first quarter got off to a good year. I'm excited about all the fights, but I can't lie and I can't Kool-Aid pump. I'm excited by David versus David more than anything, especially anything that's between January and February. I'm very excited about that. Shout out to David Morrell. Get like Tommy said, getting in there with 11 fights. A lot of people think he's the goods. I think he's good. Wasn't impressive his last fight, but maybe he the better version, the version that we normally used to seeing, David Morrell will come out. Maybe even a better version, but he's going up because David Benavidez. And I like both of these guys, and I like David Benavidez a little more. You know, I'm gonna be honest. But this should be a great fight. But I tell you guys, this before I pass it to Prize. If it's any fight in the first quarter, in my honest opinion, that will be the upsets of all upsets. Even if Lamont Roach upset Tank, I got this Morrell. If he upsets David Benavidez, it's going to be mind-boggling, more than you may think at the time, because this fight is such a big deal. This fight is bigger. It means more, you know, because Morrell, even with 11 fights, he's a bigger name already than Lamont Roach. So I'm excited for this fight because I want to see the plan that David Morrell has for David Benavidez. Go ahead, Price.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a boxing supporter or a boxing fan for a long time, so I'm excited for the way the year going to start off. You know, we got some good fights coming up. I'm excited for the Tank and Lamont fight. I do want to see it. I know I didn't care about it. I don't care for it, but I still want to see Tank fight, man. Like you said, we just want to see our guys fight. So, and I'm excited to see, like y'all said, I think we all in agreements with that, with David and David. I don't know if Morrell can beat him. I just think Morrell is a savage for taking the fight. You know what I mean? He only got 12 fights, and he didn't look that good in his last fight. But I think he'll be up for this one, and he gonna come in the best shape. And I think that we're gonna get some fireworks in that fight. I'm also excited to see where the heavyweights go because we got a new heavyweight king in Usyk. I want to see what he's gonna do next because he pretty much beat everybody. But you know, so. I'm excited to see what happened with that, and I'm excited to see what Devin get back in there, and I'm excited to see Shakur and Kid Austin. He came up here on this channel and talked, and I like the way their mindset is going into that fight. They're saying, hey, if we win, then boom, we here, we outside. If we don't win, it'll be a good learning for us. You know what I mean? I don't plan on Shakur knocking out or stopping Kid Austin. I think Shakur probably should win the fight. I think he will win the fight, but nevertheless, I'm excited for it. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for all of that stuff. I'm a boxing fan, bro. So I'm gonna be positive, and the way it's looking all right to me. We got some good setups coming. Like you said, Andy Cruz, I'm excited for him. I rock with him because I rock with the Cuban style of boxing. I like that style, like Riggs. You know what I mean? I like that style of boxing. Just the Cubans alone. I just like the Cubans fighters. I don't know why. And I want to see Andy Cruz. That guy he fighting ain't no bum. If you know, you know. Like the coach said, if you know, you know. Dude can crack. You know what I mean? He did beat Colbert, who was a quality opponent that's a win. I'm giving the guy full credit. So when Andy Cruz go in there and beat him, I'm giving Andy Cruz full credit. So I'm excited, bro. It look all right to me. And then some stuff will line up too. Let's not, it's some the checkerboard gonna shuffle around. You feel me? Shakur gonna fight. Dev got to come back, see what he gonna do. We got Boots. They talking about him and Stanionis maybe. We'll see. Stanionis he needs to get active quick. So we got some things coming up, man. So y'all be cool, man. We got this. Boxing got this. It's not gonna let us down. Turkey involved, it should be all right, man. Make the fights. I don't care if they in Saudi Arabia. I'm getting used to it now, so it is what it is. I just want to see fights.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, you good, Tommy. Go ahead.
Now I was going to say on the Morrell fight, on his last fight against Hot Rod, where a lot of people say he didn't look that good. Hot Rod is a veteran, and when you got a veteran who's in survival mode, it kind of reminded me of the first fight of Karen versus Boots. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I was disappointed in was that was that David was unable to really make adjustments. He kept trying to do the same things,
Right.
which I thought was a little bit of a problem. But it's going to be a totally different fight with Benavidez. Benavidez is stepping to you. That's a completely we can't look at that hot rod fight, a dude who ran for 12 rounds
Yeah, he
on
did
his
run.
bicycle for 12 rounds. He's on a unicycle at that. The one you know, for 12 rounds. It ain't gonna be like that with Benavidez. And Prize, when you say I like the Cuban style of fighting, you ain't gotta explain it. Just rock with that, dog.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I rock with it heavy, man. BVO like to troll me from time to time because I like that style. And you know, a lot of people, some people say, "Oh, it's boring, it's boring." It ain't boring because if you know what you're looking at, then the guy is doing all. I don't even got to explain myself like you said. You know, you know.
Right. Well, I tell y'all one thing, and everybody expects this, not this
See,
fight,
BVL, see, that's that mess right there.
Yeah.
Correct.
Now everybody already expecting this to be a one-sided victory with Shakur Stevenson and Kid Austin, which is a fight I can't wait to see. Now the thing is, it's a very interesting fight because we want to see Shakur put on the type of performance that he put on at 130. Because since Shakur Stevenson has been at 135 pounds, he has not been fan satisfactory. And I hear the fans say he's going to knock Kid Austin out.
That's crazy.
But I'm going to say this, because I said I'm going to let those guys stay in their lane. Certain things I learned to ignore. But I will say this. Wishful thinking. Stop looking for everyone to get a knockout, especially guys who don't get knockouts. That's not their style. Even guys that are knockout artists, it's not going to get a knockout all the time. Now, because Kid Austin may be inexperienced, he's kind of green towards when it comes to Shakur Stevenson. That doesn't mean Shakur Stevenson is going to knock him out. Shakur hasn't even dropped anybody at 135 pounds. That's just
Japanese dude.
Yeah, I'm about to say he put the Japanese guy down.
Okay? You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Okay.
Okay?
Are you?
Absolutely.
But outside of that, that's one. But has he really been looking satisfactory? No, he has not been looking like the Shakur that he looked at 130 and 126. This is just all honesty. And it's just facts. Let these fighters, if you really like them for what they do best, not for what you want them to do. Because for y'all to go and come out here and say that he's a guy, that's not him. That's not Shakur Stevenson. Hand injury or not, that's not Shakur Stevenson. He's safety first. He has been more precautious than anybody at 135 pounds since he moved up. Y'all ask yourselves that question. Why has he became more cautious since he moved up in weight? Well, I'm going to tell you. Go back to the Oscar Valdez fight. What did he tell y'all? Man, I got hit with this body shot on this dude, man. You know, so some fighters are not comfortable with getting hit because they don't like the way that it feels. Some fighters are like that. He's one of them. So, you know, in order to gamble for a knockout that y'all saying that he's going to do, he didn't say that. He said he's going to beat him up. Now, Shakur, he can beat guys up. He just haven't beat anybody up really at 135, even with the knockdown against the Jap. And that was a good Japanese fighter. And I even called that out. D3 might remember when everybody was trying to figure out who's Shakur, who's going to be his first fight at 135. I said, Yoshino. Give me my money. You see what I'm saying? And Yoshino is good, but he ain't in the same stratosphere as Shakur Stevenson. Let's just be honest. You know, so he did what he was supposed to do. But I'm not going to ask or even say a boxing tactician, a defensive first guy, is going to go in and knock anybody the hell out, because that's not what he do. I don't give a damn if he got in there with the chinniest guy. That's not what he do. He go in there trying to knock a puncher out. He might get knocked the F out. What are y'all talking about? But I do expect him to win this fight. But we did talk to the Schofields, and listen, I don't knock their confidence at all. They say they're gonna be ready. They say they're not worrying about the experience and the experience that Shakur got helping him, because they got experience in future Hall of Famers. I mean, Hall of Famers and guys with boxing IQs helping him too. So they right. But even if Schofield lose to Shakur Stevenson, it's still a win-win for Schofield. Because Schofield makes it a hard night for Shakur Stevenson, even if Shakur come out and be successful. Shakur could win by unanimous decision, but it could be a close one, but well-deserved. You know who stock raises? Not Shakur Stevenson's. Schofield does. So
he can't lose.
Can't lose. It's not a lose-lose situation for the kid.
Nope.
But as long as he go in there and don't let his inexperience and his immaturity get in the way with their plan and what they supposed to do, win or lose, he would be the best version of Schofield that we see.
Yeah, I hope they
What you got, bro? Talk to us. He went somewhere. But yeah, so yeah, it's a lot of good fights, and I'm gonna say this: Lamont Roach has no choice to but come and fight, and I think he will. I like Lamont Roach.
I do too, Crab.
I always thought Lamont Roach was all right.
With
I'm
me.
not just saying this because he fighting Tank. I watch boxing. Most of y'all don't know ish about boxing. Y'all just looking. Y'all not paying attention. Y'all ain't studying. That's why you sound crazy when you talk. And somebody like Coach Tommy, somebody deep, we got to put you in your place. But it's a learning lesson, so don't take it personal. But it's a learning experience for Schofield that we didn't see Shakur Stevenson given the opportunity to, regardless of what did not happen with other people. Schofield is getting in there with Shakur Stevenson. Because Shakur Stevenson not too long ago was looking like a boogeyman. Because there's fighters that did turn Shakur Stevenson down. Regardless if Shakur Stevenson didn't live up to what he said out of his mouth with his last couple performances. I ain't going to act like dudes are scared to fight him. So that looks bad for the guys that was scared to fight him.
Right.
So, you know, this is boxing. And this is what happens. This is what takes place. You know, one moment somebody looking like the most fair fighter, and then the next time he just looking like food to everybody. And you know what the thing is, the sad reality? Your favorite fighter is waiting for another dangerous fighter to become food in everybody's eyes before they even think about licking their chops and taking a piece of it. What y'all got, man?
I'm kind of hyped for that fight, man. I'm gonna give Shakur some props for taking the fight, right? Because you either want to go at the people at the top, or you want to give an opportunity to a young lion. And he giving an opportunity to a young lion, so I give him a lot of props for that. I was a big Shakur and Tank fan, but I'm keep it real. I'm not fully happy with how both of them moving. I like to see them fight. I watch what they do in the ring. I don't expect a lot no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect them to give me the fights I want to see. Like especially out of Tank, even though I love to watch him fight. But as far as Shakur go, I think Shakur is getting too like he tried to act like things don't bother him. He the most emotional fighter out there. It looks like. Um, he got caught up trying to please the crowd. He fought Conceição and he walked Conceição down. He beat the living crap out of because I'm not cursing. He beat the living crap out of Conceição. You know what I mean? And he got criticism for that. He was fighting Artem instead of just fighting a small fight. He's talking the corner. If I don't knock him out, I'm gonna quit. Who you fronting for? You know what I'm saying? He knew the cameras were on. He's saying that for whoever gonna see him in the cameras. Like, stop, man. Stop. You're a defensive fighter. You're defense first. You're great at it. Be that. You know what I'm saying? Be that. Be that first and foremost. If a knockout come, beautiful. Stop this confused shit. Don't try to define yourself at this stage in your career. Be the fighter you are, and it's gonna be hard for him to lose, man. But I'm excited for the fight, man. I want to see what Kid Austin brings. He's young, he's big, he's strong, but I fully expect Shakur to outclass him. I really do, and win a decision.
Oh, a prize.
Yep.
How do you feel about? Because this is a good one too, and I think this is on the Tank and Roach fight card. The rematch.
Mm-hmm.
We will be revisiting the Heartbreaker, Figueroa, going against the Scooter. How do you feel and what you think is going to happen in the rematch?
I think it's gonna be another close fight, bro. It seems like they styles, man, just when they collide, bro, it just make a good fight. Scooter, he went down in his last fight, but he got up and he performed well to me. He's okay. He was cool, but he gonna have to be careful because Figueroa, he wanted his get back, and some BVO thought Figueroa won, but I felt like Scooter won. But that's a good one. I'm excited for that one. I forgot that was on that undercard, but I'm happy. I hope Scooter, can win convincingly this time, but it's not gonna be easy. And he, I gotta kind of agree with BVO. He looked a little sus since the Inoue fight, but we'll see. Because Figueroa ain't to play with. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's.
But I got Scooter though.
Got Scooter winning the
Yeah.
rematch.
Yep.
I'm 50-50 on the rematch. And I'm gonna tell you why. For a simple fact that I know Figueroa. A lot of people thought Figueroa won that fight. A lot of people feel as though that Scooter won the fight, but it made it much harder than what he needed to be because he fought Figueroa with style. This is the reason why it's a 50-50 fight, in my honest opinion, because both of these guys are familiar with one another. Scooter knows he cannot and should not fight Figueroa's fight. Now, Figueroa would know that Scooter's not going to fight his fight. So he's going to have to do what Figueroa does better than Scooter does what Scooter does. And this is why it's a 50-50 fight, because both of these men ain't looking for another loss. And I know Scooter is trying to get back. He's definitely not feeling it because probably one of the most unappreciated and not recognized enough in boxing, especially for the Accolades fans, because Scooter was running around, knocking off so many guys that never been beaten, but he never got praised for it. But other fighters had dethroning guys and all that. So definitely a good fighter. You got to see what's definitely left of him. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's half baked. But we got to see because we've been waiting for him to get back in the ring. So it's a 50-50 fight for me. And I know both of these guys, they might have changed us something a little bit. If I'm both camps, I probably would have done, switch up something, try to do something that my opponent is not expecting. It's going to be uncomfortable for my opponent when he see it. So it's a 50-50 fight because I know Scooter definitely want to go up 2-0 on Figueroa. And I know Figueroa is trying to make that thing 1-1. And then if it turns out, I think it's a good enough fight for a third one if it winds up being that way. So, which is something that we don't see enough in boxing with this generation of fighters. You know, I grew up on guys getting it in, fighting each other 2 or 3 times, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah. D3, you was going for a minute, so you know it's an open panel. So we was just talking about, you know, other fights that's coming up. Rematch with Figueroa and Scooter, and also I was talking about we talked about Schofield and Shakur Stevenson. So you can go ahead and cook on the both now.
First, the Shakur Stevenson and Kid Austin fight, I think it's going to be a little tougher than Shakur imagined. For the early part of the fight, once Shakur figures out what Kid Austin is doing, I think Shakur is going to pull away in the later half of the fight. I don't think it's going to end in a knockout. I don't think he's going to stop Kid Austin. I do think he's going to outpoint him, but I think it's going to start to separate in the later half of the fight. I think Shakur is going to figure out what Kid Austin is doing, and he's going to pull away with the decision. With the Cool Boy fight, I think Brandon Figueroa is going to win this fight. And the reason I say I think Brandon Figueroa is going to win this fight, the only way I see Cool Boy winning this rematch is if he uses his legs more. He has to give different angles and outbox Figueroa. The problem is Cool Boy is not a big puncher, and I think Brandon Figueroa is going to walk him down, and he's going to try to get him out of there. I don't know if he'll stop him, but I think Brandon Figueroa is going to walk Cool Boy down and make Cool Boy have to fight him instead of boxing him. And I think Brandon Figueroa is going to pull out this fight in the rematch.
Great point. What else we got? It's another fight that's coming up. Oh, here we go. El Rayo and Antoine Russell.
Ooh.
It's another fight I want to see. I've been waiting to see Antoine Russell. I like him. I want his career to move forward and stay consistent in the sport because I think he can have a hell of a career. So he gets a chance to get back in the ring, get a belt and possibly unify. So to see him get in the ring against El Rayo, and you guys know I gave El Rayo most improved fighter, and this fight against Antoine Russell would definitely solidify and validate what I said about El Rayo, because Antoine Russell is nice. Of course, there's a couple of loose ends you got to tighten up on. I think they've been working on. They know what they are. So to see him get back in the ring and get the fight for a title, because when the opportunity was there, he did the wise thing, people, and say, hey, I need to take a step back. I'm not ready for this. I'm not mentally here yet. You know, so then if he does win the fight against El Rayo, then we could possibly see the unification if Julio can get past Sandor Martin. So I'm excited for that. And I think even though El Rayo can punch, but Antoine he's a tough guy. And he's going to bring everything. And I think even though El Rayo was able to handle Pitbull's pressure, but Pitbull ain't Antoine Russell, goddamn. So it's definitely going to be a good fight. That fight could possibly be one of the best fights of the night. And I think that whole entire 10 card against Lamont Roach, what they have lined up, is going to be lit. And I think all the fighters are winners and losers that night. going to come into this day. But I'm excited, and I think Antoine is going to try to make a whole statement come fight. So I'm excited for that.
I'm just glad Antoine is fighting more, man. That's what I've been asking for. So
Hmm.
salute to him on finally getting out the bed and fighting, bro. Jesus. But shout out to my man Coach Tommy coming through. I see he got Pitbull Cruz in his arms. So we want to see some good fights. But I'll tell you this. The thing I gotta say is kudos to Al Heyman, kudos to the Russell family. You know, my man Antoine Russell fought Pulo for WBC title eliminator, and now he's about to go right into a WBA title shot. So you know what? No longer can he say he didn't get his opportunity. So salute to him on getting out the bed and going to work. I appreciate him getting up and going to work because he's a good fighter. He's really talented. Him and his I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Headbangers Gym in DC. Them brothers out there putting work in. And so I'm just glad to see that Gary Antoine is really taking the steps to show us what he did, because let's not forget, this is the guy who beat Jerron Ennis. I think he beat him 3 times in the amateurs. Was
Yeah.
that 3 times free?
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 out of 4.
Yeah, so I mean, the dude got all the talent in the world, man. So I'm glad to hear him getting back, and you know, it's just exciting because you know what? Once you remove the BS from boxing, man, it's the greatest sport in the world, man. Y'all notice how we getting off the crazy train, and we gonna talk about some real boxing. Because guess what? I got a feeling Tank Davis might break Lamont Roach's jaw. Just think if he break his jaw and bust his eardrum, and just imagine. I just want to see Tank really get medieval on Lamont Roach. Don't knock him out, hurt him, bust his eyes up, break his eyes, hurt him. I want Lamont looking. You guys remember how Martin looked when he fought Tommy Hearns? I want to see my man Lamont Roach looking like Martin when he fought Tommy Hearns. I want to see him get hurt, man.
Well,
Go ahead.
the problem with that is Tank is a heavy puncher, so the chances of him actually beating somebody up, you probably would never see it, because if you go back and look at all the Tank early fights, you never see him beat anybody up. He hits them with a punch and they go to sleep. So that's the problem. That reason why Tank can't beat nobody up is because he's a heavy puncher. Usually when he lands his shot, somebody's going down or somebody's getting stopped. So you probably would never see Tank beat anybody up.
Well, he beat Mario Barrios up. That's
I
what I
mean,
mean.
he
That's what I want to see,
he didn't.
something like that.
Mario Barrio wasn't bleeding in that fight. He wasn't swollen. He was
No,
knocked down 4
I'm
times.
just saying Tank got heavy hands, so he ended up knocking him out, but he was really hurting him. You know, he was
Yeah,
really hurting him to the
that's what I said.
body in particular.
You probably won't see Tank actually beat nobody up like what Bud Crawford did to Earl or anything like that. You probably will never see that because he's such a heavy puncher.
Mm. That's a good point. I can wish. So, what you think, Coach Tommy? What you think if Tank go in there and brutalize him? How you think that would play out?
I think he is going to brutalize him. I think he is going to brutalize him. And I think it's just going to create more demand to see Tank in the big fights. If them big fights happen or not, I don't know. You know, it's a lot of people ducking Tank too. You know, at the same time, I gotta be honest about that. And
That's a fact.
Tank don't seem that interested in the sport no more either. But I think he is going to brutalize Roach. I think he is going to hurt him.
You sure after seeing that video, Tommy? He looked great. You seen that video? I mean, everybody was worried about his hair. I mean, I don't beat men, so I don't care what his hair looked like. The brother, like
Yeah.
he's in shape and ready to fight. I did hear that was Coach Kenny's daughter. That was the 139. I heard that wasn't Tank's actual weight. So, I mean, I heard more about the doggone ponytail than I heard about, seeing him looking peak shape. And like I said, just imagine, and you know how it is, Tommy. You know, I'm talking about, I just want to see Tank be brutal in the ring. I don't want to see him just knock him out. Really want to see him hurt Lamont, because Lamont was talking crazy. So break his jaw, hurt him. Remind him that, hey, we're not playing around. And for us, for the fans, that's a good trade-off. What you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, if you get it, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he gonna catch him with a shot, and Lamont going to get on his bike, and then Tank Davis is going to walk him down. I think Lamont going to be game for a while. He's going to be game until Tank figures him out, and Tank going to catch him with a shot. It's going to look similar to the Frank Martin fight. I think it's going to look similar to the Frank Martin fight. I think Lamont is going to have success early in the fight, and then once Tank figures him out, he's going to catch him with a shot, and Lamont is going to get on his bike and try to stay away from Tank, and Tank is just going to walk him down and stop him.
You think he's as good as somebody like the dude from Detroit? You think he's as good as a Frank Martin?
No, I don't think he has the same skill as Frank Martin. I'm just talking about the way he's gonna have success early in the fight, and then Tank Davis is gonna figure him out, and he's gonna get hit with a shot, and he's gonna try to stay away from Tank. That's what I'm talking about as far as Frank Martin. I ain't talking about the skill level. I think Frank Martin is more I think Frank Martin is more athletic than Lamont Roach.
Yeah.
But just the outlook of the fight is going to be success early. He get caught with a shot. He going to try to stay away, and Tank is just going to walk him down and stop him.
Yeah, and I heard a question that Crush brought up to the pen. I hope you guys don't mind me answer it. And I used to be a huge TL supporter. I think he really is losing ground because even though he fought some legendary fights, it's always about what have you done for me lately. And him pulling out this Matias fight, it's a horrible look, man. Because we know Matias is Godzilla. You can't talk like a big dog and then pull out of a fight with Matias. Sergio Matias is a nice fighter, man. And if TL could have beat him, that could have done a great job of resurrecting his career to where he wanted to be. But pulling out that fight, that was a bad look, man. That wasn't good. That wasn't good.
Yo, question, is that Gary Antoine versus Rayo fight signed and sealed, or they just trying to make it happen?
I heard it was signed and sealed, but you never know till it happens.
Okay, I'm excited for that. I'm real excited for that. On that, I'm gonna go back. I gotta rewind a little bit. That Scooter versus Figueroa fight, I believe as that fight goes on and on and on, you're gonna see Fulton get more and more defensive, throw less and less shots, and I think Figueroa is gonna run away with a clear decision. I think it's not gonna be close. It's gonna be a clear decision. I really believe that, man.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. Scooter's a nice fighter, but
he is.
He kind of always has struggled with guys with power. I'm not saying he's cheating or nothing because he's never really been, but I think that anyway fight was a last straw. And that's not to take away from him because he had guys running from him too. But I just think you start getting beat to death, man. It takes a toll on you, man. Anyway, it was beating you to death, man.
You know what? I'm real hyped.
Fight after too, he got dropped the next fight.
Yeah.
All the nice clothes won't save him, man.
I'm real hyped for this Virgil Ortiz and Madrimov. I think that got all the makings of possible fight in the year right there.
It does. I worry about Virgil in that fight because he don't have a button of. Virgil got to really work on boxing, man, because when you get in there with these tough guys who can box, as we've seen with Boychuk, you can't just push forward on everybody. Everybody's not going to let you just push forward on them, man. It's not how that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in a way, that's kind of why I was so surprised that Boots didn't take that fight. I get why he didn't, because I did hear he's in the negotiation with Stanionis, which is terrific. I think that'd be a good fight. I would favor Boots possibly stopping Stanionis, but
yeah,
I thought if anybody had a chance against King Virgil, I definitely thought it was Boots Ennis.
I agree.
But it's funny when you watch boxing overall, people say David Morrell's not ready. I don't think that's the case. I just think Benavidez just has more experience than him. And let's be honest here, Morrell struggled that last fight. I thought he lost. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I thought he lost, but
you're the only dude I ever heard say that.
You sure?
Yeah, a
No,
hundred,
he didn't
a
lose that
hundred.
fight.
Find me another person. Find me another one.
Yeah, he didn't lose that fight. If you gave that man 7 rounds, I need to know who's your eye doctor because there was not 7 rounds that man won. I can't see him losing. I didn't see him losing. I didn't see him losing more than 4 rounds, and I'm stretching it by saying
Mhm.
4, but I didn't see him losing more than 4. But um, see the thing is the people are so used to hearing David Benavidez and they watch David Benavidez more that they just say, you know what, David Morrell is not ready for David Benavidez. But if you go back and you look at David Morrell and you watch his fights, actually sit down and watch his fights, you'll realize David Morrell has a lot of tools that can beat David Benavidez. You gotta sit down and just watch what he's doing. And like I said, when I went off his resume, he's only fought one guy that had a losing record. Only two guys in the entire resume had more than 3 losses. Both of them had 6 losses. His first 2 fights. Everybody else either had 2 losses, 1 loss, or no losses. So he wasn't fighting no just run of the mill type fighters. He was fighting some guys that got a good record, and I believe the dude that he stopped in the 12th round that he put into a coma. That everybody was saying that was going to be David Morrell's hardest fight. It's going to be his hardest fight. This is a big puncher and all that. And
Mhm.
David Morrell beat that dude from round 1 to round 12. He had to make the referee stop the fight. He put that man in a coma.
What's so funny about Morrell, Coach Tommy and Brother Free. I think this is the first time I've seen a Cuban actually look the age they say he is. He actually looks like about 25. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see him. I'm
You know,
excited to see him. But I just say this. But you guys got to think about it. Remember Luis Ortiz when he came out? He had the blonde hair, and Frank Sanchez, as Free always say, he got old overnight. I mean, he went from having hair to getting a bald head and then disappearing. So I'm just excited about Morrell. Only thing with Morrell is I just really wish. I guess you can't say that. Let me stop being a baby. I just want to see. I just want to see how it goes. I just don't think he can beat David. That's just my honest opinion. But it's
you
gonna
know,
be.
you know what this remind me of? Morrell got 12 fights. They saying he don't got the experience.
Mm-hmm,
When Rigo, when he had 12 fights, he was about to fight a dude by the name of Nonito Donaire.
mm-hmm,
Nobody in the world thought he was going to beat Donaire. He only got 12 fights. He only got 12 fights. Donaire's too experienced. And what happened, man? It was an easy wash. It was easy. It looked like easy sparring, man. And I don't think this one is going to look like easy sparring. But I believe if Morrell uses that 4-inch reach advantage and then faster feet, because one thing about Benavidez, they always talk about how fast his combinations are. They are, because he got short arms. But you notice he gets his combinations off. He has to have you right in front of him to start ripping off the combos. Mama, 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 mama. That's the only time he does that. During the fight, he's trying to close the distance, and he catches you here and there, and those are the ones that end up breaking dudes down, slowing them down late in the fight. I don't see him doing that against Morrell. He gonna get hit with some shit. He gonna get hit harder than who has he fought that hits like Morrell? Nobody.
Nobody.
I would have to disagree, Hermano. I think Boo Boo can punch. I think Boo Boo can punch, man.
Nah.
How many
Boo
knockouts Boo
Boo
got on his record?
Boo Boo. You gotta remember. Boo Boo came up from 160, and in that first fight against Damon Milkers, Boo Boo looked like trash. He looked like trash in that fight, and a lot of
Oh,
people thought Damon Milkers could have possibly won that fight if he didn't get dropped. He could have possibly won that fight if he didn't get dropped. He looked like trash in that fight. I didn't like the way Boo Boo looked in that fight and none of that. And Boo Boo doesn't have the same power that Morrell has, or he doesn't have at 68. I'm gonna say at 68. I'm not gonna say 60 because I haven't seen Morrell at 60. And Boo Boo was a little elusive at 60, but at 68, he didn't have the footwork that Morrell had at 68. He tried to at the beginning of that fight, and it got him tired. He fell into a Caleb Plant situation. But to go to what B3 said real quick, he said, Free, are you putting money on Morrell? I already put 200 on Morrell. I put 200 on Morrell for the win. I didn't pick a knockout because I really don't think neither one of these guys gonna get knocked out. If they do, so be it. But I put 200 on Morrell already.
B3, we could put some bread on that if you think I ain't putting no money on it. And to the brother that said Morrell is complete garbage, you sound like a complete casual, man. You tripping right now.
Yeah, that's Tony Review. I don't know what he was watching when he watched Morrell, but Morrell is not garbage by a long shot.
But Morrell was beating the Cuban sandwich out of a few people, man. So I don't know where you get that from. I mean, Morrell looks like everything we thought Jamal Charlo was going to be: big, strong. Go ahead.
And David Benavidez. No, I was gonna say David Benavidez might be better than Morrell. He might be better than Morrell, but that doesn't mean that Morrell is garbage. I don't see garbage from Morrell at all. I mean, what else do you want? He has everything that what Boo Boo has and what Caleb Plant had. The one thing that he has that neither one of them had in the fight with David Benavidez is he has a gas tank. That's the one thing that he has that neither one of them have. So I don't know what garbage you see. Now, like I said, David Benavidez might be better than him. I got it as a 50-50 fight. I'm just leaning towards Morrell.
No, man. That's a, hold on. That's a troll, man. That's a troll. We not honoring no trolls, man. That's stupid to even say. We not honoring no trolls, man. That's the dumbest thing I heard. Morrell's garbage. Come on. Now, it's not many fighters you can say is garbage on the planet. This dude is professional, WBA champion. Come on, we're not doing that. He's not garbage. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Because you don't like him, he's garbage. That's sound like a 5-year-old saying they don't want to eat their broccoli, man. Get out of here.
I mean, if you call David Morrell garbage, then I need to see who you call good, because he has all the tools of a good fighter. I need to see
Free. We not entertaining no troll stuff. That's troll talk. We're not entertaining that, bro. Trash.
that don't even make sense.
Now you can say I don't like his haircut. I don't like that Jason Voorhees haircut he got, but trash. I mean, come on, bro. That's crazy. I think my man Coach Tommy got to take him to a barber in Florida. But other than that, to say he's trash, that's a troll. That's a troll. That's a
real quick. Let me just throw aside B3. Let's lock that in 50, man. I'll take that. That's a gentleman's wager. I'm with that.
Lock that in. Remember, B3, you can't pay that in food stamps, man. You gotta pay that in cash. No food stamps.
You give me $100 of food stamps, I'll take that. I'll take that. You double it up.
Hey, it gotta be double. If it's food stamps, it gotta be double.
I want my money in Buffalo nickels. So if Tommy win, he wanted money in Buffalo nickels.
Yeah, but I think that fight right there has the making of being the fight of the year. It has the making of being the fight of the year, because if both of these guys come in there and bring it like we believe that they will, it very well could be fight of the year.
Oh, let me say this real quick. We're looking to get 3 appreciations a show. We haven't really been on it, but we want to get back on that. If you guys want to support the channel, by all means, it doesn't matter the amount. The main thing is about pushing the content forward. So, like I said, if you guys want to support the channel, by all means, do that. We only ask for 3 appreciations a show because we're growing. And like I said, we want to keep the lights on, man. You guys don't realize they really keep the lights on, So I appreciate everybody. But I'm still stuck on that, man. The same Morrell trash. That's crazy. That's crazy.
His ball trash.
I'll say right back, trash. I'll be right back.
He looked like, it's funny. He when he took his hat off when he fought to fight Morrell, Benavidez, his hair was crazy. That's when I can say his hair looked crazy.
Yeah, if he's staying down here in Florida, I see why. These dudes in Florida, they can't cut hair for shit. It's not like New York. They so bad. I ain't cut my hair in 8 months, man. Like I'm not even cutting my hair no more. They horrible. Horrible. This is not New York City, man. Probably DC. Probably, you know, they probably see DC dudes at crispy fades. Florida dudes be looking like Dave Morrell all over the place.
Everybody got locks down in Florida, man. Especially in Tampa, man. Especially in Tampa, man. Ain't that
Yeah,
I
that's
heard
all.
Tampa like ain't that Tampa like the one of the flattest places in the United States? Something cool
Yeah.
like
Yeah, ain't no hills here. It's
yeah.
the lightning capital of the world and the cigar capital of the world.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I heard about they had those Dominican cigars in Tampa, man.
Cuban,
You know,
man. They got Cubans making cigars, making them in front of you, right there, like down in Ybor City. Yeah, it's real.
you know what's funny? I read an article about the Cuban cigars, and they basically said a lot of the ones that you buy from people that be like 20 a stick is fake.
Fake. That's a fact. That's a fact. A lot of them is made in Dion, Dominican Republic, other places, and they pass them off as Cuban cigars. That's a fact.
Because I think a lot of the people who knew how to do it, I'm not sure, but according to that article, it basically was saying a lot of people who knew how to do the cigars left Cuba. You know, once they communism, all that good stuff took over. I don't know if that to be true, but Dominican Republic got some really good cigars, man. They real smooth, man. They not like, what is it, Demonico? Those are the Cuban ones everybody like.
Macanudo.
It's not that.
Dominican Republic. I like that. That's the only cigar I like from them.
Yeah, yeah. I've never had that one, but it sound like it's a good one because as long as to me, you get a smooth pull, you know what you think.
Yeah, it's Macanudo.
You know, I can't be like my man B3 smoking Black and Mild. So, but on that note, anybody got anything else?
Yeah, last thing I'm gonna say, man. If it happens, man, you're gonna see my man Andy Cruz shock the world. Andy Cruz, the new Pernell Whitaker. If Tank give him a shot, you're gonna have a Cuban lightweight champion. With that, I'm out, people.
You said he the new who?
Yeah, you heard it. Pernell Whitaker. You heard that.
This is a sick Negro.
You got anything free, crush, surprise? I think they all went to sleep. On that note, it's your boy BBO Boxing. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys can still hit those appreciations. You know, after the show, we can still meet our goal after the show. So thank you to everybody. Appreciate you, man. On that note, we gone. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching BVO. And if you're down with BVO, subscribe and join the community. Have a great night.